Welcome to the Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. The only show dedicated to helping parents maximize their kids' experiences and for kids to reap the fun. Here are your hosts, the Bodacious family, Adam, Anthony, and Zachary.
Yeah! Welcome. Welcome back to Bodaciously
Awesome
Family
Show.
I am your host, Adam.
I am your host, Zachary.
And I like the energy, Zach. Zach was looking a little tired. I said, let's do the podcast. He's like, okay. And then it's like the microphone light goes on, and Zach turns awake and bringing the energy. How are you today?
Good.
You just woke up like an hour and a half ago. You're still waking up, I know, but that's okay, because we're here to talk about some soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
All right, so I know really we're at home, but this podcast does not take place at home. So where are we in the world today, Zach?
Georgina.
We are in Georgia. Do you know what city in Georgia we're in?
Not Atlanta.
Kind of, sort of, not really. Yes, we're in an Atlanta suburb. Officially, we are in Kennesaw, Georgia, at the home of Kennesaw State University, the home of the Fighting Owls, I believe. Also, where your mom went and got her degree, her undergraduate degree at.
Cool.
Yeah. And what are we here to do?
Watch Atlanta United 2.
That's right, the Atlanta United 2.
Yeah.
Or the Two Spikes, as they are also called sometimes, apparently.
They are?
That
is the worst name of all time.
Well, there were people in the crowd, so we'll talk about your experience, which was different than mine, but I was in the crowd with the commoners, unlike you, who got special treatment, and they had, like, even here, and you got a shirt, and your shirt, the 2 has 2 spikes driven through it, and so people in the crowd were calling the team, sometimes, the Two Spikes.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's what it was. So, yeah, so we are...
incorrect.
So we're talking about the Atlanta United 2. So do you know the difference between the Atlanta United and the Atlanta United 2?
One has sold out crowds and one doesn't.
That is odd difference. Anything else? They also play in different places.
Oh yeah, they also play. One plays in the Falcons Stadium.
Yeah, in the Benz.
Which is a really nice stadium.
Yeah, you've been on that field. I have not.
Yeah.
And in the locker rooms.
And one plays on...
in Kennesaw State University.
Exactly. Outdoors.
So, the MLS, Major League Soccer, is the biggest soccer league in the United States. And the United States, in that league, is the Atlanta United.
Yes.
And then there's another division. I don't remember the name of it. It's also the same division as, say, the Tampa Rowdies. It's like the USL or something like that.
Oh.
But it's like basically a developmental league. So the Tampa Bay Rowdies, obviously in our hometown, that's where they play at, or they play in that same division. And so a lot of MLS teams have a second team that is like kind of like, I assume it's like a feeder team or some sort of
to get them up to the Orlando City for the Rowdies or Atlanta United for Atlanta United 2.
Right. And so the Atlanta United 2 is obviously then closely related to the Atlanta United. Just plays, they play their games about 30 miles outside the city at Kennesaw State outdoors. And you mentioned the crowd, we went on a Wednesday night, and the Atlanta United gave us tickets, so thank you very much to talk about them. And when the game started, let's just say that crowd was sparse.
There was not a lot of people.
But it filled up, it didn't fill up, but I would say there was 2,000 people there maybe? Oh, you were giving me a look that says that I can't count.
More like 200.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no. Anthony was there with me. He agreed with me. Because when the game started, there was 20 people. We're like, whoa, where is everybody? And apparently, caught traffic just coming in late. But I'll say 1,500. I wouldn't go lower than that. It was a decent.
It was 500 lower.
Well, you remember, you were looking at the sidelines where they
I looked at your sidelines too.
Okay, so where we were sitting, there's a lot of people we were sitting.
Decent amount, but it was 500 people.
I'm going to say, no, it was at least 1,000. I'm going 1,500.
Incorrect.
I'll find a way to figure this out between now and the end of the podcast. But as we go through it, you had a job, you literally had a job to do. Yeah. At this game.
I didn't even get any. No one kicked the ball over to me because I had the worst spot.
Well, first of all, what was your job?
To grab balls.
Give us a little more context here now. That was a weird way of phrasing that.
To grab balls on the field, but I couldn't really even grab them because there was a barricade in front of me and I couldn't get on the field.
Well, yeah, so that is, which is actually was kind of annoyed me because the kids that got the other side of the field got to be on the field. You had to be behind the barricade.
Yeah, but I can't choose.
Yeah, you didn't choose. So tell us, so give us some flavor. What was your role? What were you supposed to do? Like, what were you doing?
So the soccer players would kick, and if they missed and it went out to me, I was supposed to get on the field and grab the ball and then give it to them.
Yeah, pretty much. And that was your gig. So as the ball went out of bounds, you were officially a ball boy who was wrangling down the ball and going to go get it. By the way, I just looked it up. In the 21 season, so last year, their highest attendance was 1,500. So it's probably right. They probably did not hit that. The attendance was probably closer to 1,000. They said the lowest attendance was like 700. So my guess it was probably around 1,000. That was it last year. So anywho, we'll solve that one. We were both wrong. So you were a ball boy. You did get to you were on grass occasionally. You got to kind of be there. They gave you a shirt.
Yeah.
So we'd actually gone out and bought you a jersey, and then they actually gave you two spikes, two shirt.
Yeah, I should have gotten it smaller, but you convinced me to get it larger.
The jersey? Mm-hmm. I didn't convince you. It was the only one they had. I said...
No, they had two.
The jerseys were the same size. I said,
they were?
Yeah, like, you want the youth large, or you don't get one? And you said, yes, give me that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
I thought there was two.
No. And then I saved the other shirt. But you'll grow into them. You're growing fast, so don't worry about that. Did you enjoy being a ball boy?
Yes.
Why?
Because I got to see the players really well.
I mean, you were I'm not saying up close. You were as close as you could be to being on the field without being on the field. Like you were
very
amazing.
Close, yeah.
Like you had to see and you were down by one of the corners. So thus, when it was a time when there was goals being scored on that side of the field, which was often, right? Like you got amazing views of pretty much there were six goals.
Was on that side.
I think there was one that wasn't.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, I think there was one on the other side. The other, but I think 5 goals were on that side of the field.
Yeah. So
that was pretty cool.
It was very cool.
So, do you remember what the score of the game was?
3-3 tie.
It was. And what were you thinking during the game? Because so Anthony and I had a lot of comments. We got to, and we'll kind of get through some of our stuff. But what were you thinking? How did the game go? How do you think the United did? Give me some flavor.
They did pretty well. They need to attack the ball.
Oh my God, I was yelling that so much. Oh my God, dudes, attack the ball. There were so many passes. They're like, that's just out of reach. I won't get it.
And then when it was right in front of them, they let the other team get it. And
all the time.
I don't suggest doing that because then you guys are gonna get down by 3 like you did. But
was it 2-0 and then 2-1, or was it 3-0?
It was 3-0, and then they started making their epic comeback.
Yeah, because they said actually it was 2-0 because they scored 2 goals in a row. The United scored 2 goals in 1 minute. It was cool.
And then they scored.
And then Birmingham quickly scored again. Yeah, there was 3 goals there inside of maybe 3 minutes of play.
It was really cool.
Yeah, and then the United scored then at the very end of the game to retie it.
Stoppage. In
stoppage time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to watch. So what's cool, so we've also seen some recently, we can talk a little bit about Orlando City, so MLS
Lots
games.
of Orlando City.
We've seen, 2 of those.
Except one of them kind of got rained out.
No, yeah, we got a big rain delay, but what would you say the style of play was between the two? Who looked better? The MLS
Orlando
teams?
City, no questions asked. 100% Orlando City could beat them 107-0.
Well, maybe not that much, but because there was obviously a discrepancy, those are developmental players versus legitimate MLS players, right? Mm-hmm. But you were able to see that. So one of the things I like to show you as an up-and-coming soccer player, right, learning, going into competitive now, is to start watching how those games are played so that you can see, obviously, the guys playing on the Atlanta United 2 are really good. But there's still a huge difference between them and an MLS team.
And then there's a huge difference between MLS and Premier.
There is, you're right. I mean, and even though those guys in MLS, in the U.S. here, are, the top 1% of all soccer players in the world, right? But yeah, Premier, you're in the top, 0.5% or something. And that's where, there's those different levels of play. But being able to see it, because then what you can start doing is start saying, okay, how do I get to that highest level?
I'm not going to do that, though.
Not right now.
Well, not at all time.
You don't think?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
What do you want to do?
Announce.
You want to announce?
I do.
Well, announce something. Here, take the microphone. What you announcing?
I don't.
Nah, you got to do better than that. I just give you the microphone, nothing.
What? Like what? What am I gonna announce though?
I don't know.
You're confusing me.
I really am. Okay, so we'll get there. All right, so we saw the. So here are some of my takeaways. So one thing, where you were, could you hear the Atlanta United 2 supporters, the drummer, the people with the chants?
The 5 people who were diehard cheers. Yes, I could.
Oh my word! You know, it's funny. You say 5 people sarcastically, but there was legitimately there may have been 6. So initially, we started off right behind them, like we were like in row 3 at the center. The drummer was right in front of us, and the 5 other people, the other chanters, were right in front of us.
Yeah.
And we actually moved because they were so loud that it was distracting. So we actually moved back a couple rows. That's fine. But like they were a lot of fun. Like I'm not saying this to disparage them, but
Anthony won their autograph.
he did. But because some of their chants were really good,
And some of them were weird and mean.
Yes, a lot of them were oddly mean. And they were also like all made up, or like they had like 1 or 2 that were obviously good chants from the United.
Real chants.
Yeah, but then it was like, Bob, your hair is long. You have a man bun, Bob. We don't like man bun, Bob. And that was like the chant, and that's how it started.
And they knew everyone on both of the teams and their sub player, and they had it was the 89th minute. It was about to go into stoppage time, and they summoned a reserve, and they had a flag with his name on it.
They did. That is absolutely true. So Atlanta United in the 88th minute or so brings in a sub, and they're like, oh yeah, Tony's coming out or something, and they actually go into their bag and they pull out a special flag for that player.
And they had refs you sock signs.
They did. They had anti-ref signs, but like their chants were so weird,
bizarre,
and
as
they
someone
knew,
said.
yeah, and Anthony and I did, but they knew every single player on both teams, right, without question. So of the USL, like Birmingham Legion, right, they're like, oh look, oh there's Josh, hey Josh, remember 14 games ago against this other random team and you tripped? We're calling you Trippy Josh. And then they would just start Trippy Josh chants.
And then they had the goalkeeper had a piece of blue on, so they called him Smurf.
Yeah. So every time the Legion's goalkeeper went near the ball, they're like, Smurf it! It was so weird.
Funny.
It was awesome. Like I said, I hope they listen to this. I am not disparaging. It made a great atmosphere. But I told Anthony at one point when they made up some cheer and they're just randomly, and again it was like this jarring chant. It was like Trippy Josh, you're gonna trip and hit your face, Trippy Josh, or something. Yeah, one player they were calling Garden Gnome. Every time he touched the ball, Garden Gnome. But they were doing these chants, and I looked at Anthony at one point. I go, remember that scene? And you haven't seen this movie, but like there's a scene in this movie called Dumb and Dumber where these 2 characters go, hey, do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? And the other guy goes, yeah. And they just go, ah.
Please stop.
That was what it was like at some times with these guys. And they would pounding that drum. My other favorite chant was like, they would start singing some song. Like, let's say there was one.
It was like, it was on the other team, and it was like, Nico, you suck!
Yes. There was one guy named Martinez, and Anthony has a friend named Martinez. We were trying to get it on a recording of it. We couldn't do it. But they'd be like, Martinez, you suck! And that was the entire chant. And they did it to like every player that would touch the ball on the other team. It was...
Cooper, you suck!
Every time they would heckle the refs.
A lot.
Yeah, there was like one of the side refs was a woman, blonde hair and attractive. So they just called her Ilsa, and so they would start singing like Frozen things at her. Like whenever she'd make a call, like let it go, you don't have to make that call anymore. I'm like, what are you people doing? It was so weird. But,
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, they constantly were making Frozen and Let It Go references at the one female ref at the female side judge because she was a attractive blonde, and so they would make Frozen references.
Hopefully, Mom doesn't hear this.
Well, I don't know. She didn't hear it. That's what they did. It was weird. But it made the event a lot of fun to go to because if you remember, we went to an Atlanta United 2 game about 3 or 4 years ago where I re-listened to the episode. I taught you how to heckle refs, which is probably not my best idea, but
totally
that atmosphere was very much included. And these guys had also apologized after the game. Like when the other players came off the field, right? There was definitely some like, hey, hope you're all okay, like all in good fun. And the other players did apparently take it that way. So we'll assume it's a give and take throughout the league, I guess. Yeah. It was weird. But then the two players came off the field and did autographs, right?
Oh, yeah.
So any kid who wanted to get an autograph, like you got your shirt autographed?
Yes.
You got to meet some players?
I did.
And did you give them any advice? Did you tell them to go towards the ball more?
No.
No, you really should have.
I shouldn't have.
You really should have.
That was a bad idea. What would if a football player walks off the field and he dropped one catch? Oh, you should have caught that pass.
But
that is not a good idea.
If he misses every catch because he's not running towards the ball, I'm telling you, I think I told you that if I was that coach, I'd have had them running those stairs after that game for like an hour. Like I was floored at how much they were not attacking the ball. But then again, they didn't lose the game. They tied it, so obviously they know what they're doing. So what do I know, right? Believe me, I could be a backseat coach and realize I get it all wrong. But yeah, I was absolutely shocked. Now there were a couple players on the Atlanta United 2 that did not do that. They were absolutely attacking the ball, and they were great. Loved watching them. But yeah, for the most part, I was getting annoyed.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, you could hear me yelling from over there. I was getting mad.
Yeah, I even heard Grandma a little.
Oh my God, she was towards the end of the game. Grandma absolutely heckled somebody.
Oh.
She heckled the ref. There was a call, and towards the end of the game, and Grandma didn't say anything else, and she's not. I mean, she enjoyed being there and watching the game with us, but she doesn't like really follow soccer or anything beyond like when I played way back when. So, but there was one point at the end of the game, whatever, it was a bad call, and she's like, "Ref, you gotta stop that!" It was great. I don't think I've ever heard her heckle anything at a crowd. Yeah, it's great.
She's like, "Ref,
you stop that!" It was amazing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, like you heckled the ref!" At that point, honestly, I think she did it as being part of that experience because that was part of the
soccering world.
Yeah, it was part of what was going on there.
Yell at every game
and respectfully.
Yell at the ref.
Yeah, respectfully. Well, if you don't like some of their calls,
some of them,
and there was a lot of bad calls in that game. Actually,
that was a really bad ref.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues. Again, the side judges, including Let It Go Ilsa, I thought were fantastic. I thought they actually did really well. But yeah, the main ref had a lot of questionable calls. Mm-hmm. But all right. So anything else? So Zach, would you suggest that kids go see an Atlanta United 2 game if you live in say the greater Kennesaw, Marietta, Cobb County region of Georgia?
Yes, that was a long name.
Well, I mean, I know where it is, so I can say that. But you would say that so it was fun?
Yep.
And the tickets weren't expensive. I mean, again, ours were free, but they weren't expensive, so you could easily go. Yeah, the 2 gave them to us. Yeah, as part of this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like that.
Also, parking was free, not just, for everybody, so that's really cool to go to a sporting event with free parking. You're way outside Atlanta, so if you aren't near Kennesaw, Cobb, it's kind of a trek in traffic after work. But open air stadium, very cozy. Concessions weren't expensive. So all in all, really good time, good family event.
Yes.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say about the Atlanta United 2 Spikes?
No.
Let's go, United. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, United. Let's go.
Yeah.
Martinez.
You suck.
And that just goes back to Martinez at the Legion. All right, everyone. We're going to talk to you next week. Don't just be awesome.
Be ridiculously awesome.
And we'll see you all next week. Love you. Bye.
Martinez. You suck.